Hello, testing, 1, 2. Hello, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Oh, hold on. Am I muted? Nope. Check, 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 check. Let's see if I got audio. Yeah, I got audio
See if
going
you can
in
hear
this thing.
me.
Yeah, there he is. Hey, Ken.
There he is. Hi there.
How you doing?
Oh, I wish we were at Las Vegas.
Oh, man. Don't I? I tell you what, of course, it would be the week after, but still, it would have been nice to have been there last week.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
You had a fun time last year.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
And maybe next year. Maybe next year.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Looks like got a few folks watching us. Martin Steedy, Kyle Gunderman, Andrew from Australia, Rick Mitchell.
Richard Ignacio is watching.
Is he watching on Facebook? Okay.
Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're welcome to join us. You know, otherwise it'll just be, oh, nope, there's Michael Bird, sorry. Got Floyd on the brain today. Hello, Michael. Unmute yourself and come on in. There's
Michael, you out
Rich.
on the beach?
I feel like I need to be on a beach.
Sunny Beach.
There's Rich. We'll unmute him. How you doing, man? You're looking good. You've been in the sun. Holy cow.
I've been driving out in a convertible.
Aha. It's rough life, but I'm glad somebody's doing it. Hello, Daniel. Welcome, sir. Glad to have you.
Bad lighting.
And hey, Boris, come on into the show. If you're watching us, there is a link in the Streaming Idiots group, and let me pull it up to the top there, that you can get into this thing. I think you have to register, but you can just join right away. So let me pull that link up.
Hey, Tom, how's my sound level?
You sound like you're in a well,
Oh, okay.
but
Testing 1, 2, 3.
that just goes with the territory,
Okay, how about this? Does a little bit sound better?
That's better. Yep.
Okay.
I like your bird there. He's joining us.
Hey, Ken's flipping us the bird.
This is Abby. She likes to be involved in whatever I'm doing over here.
All right. Hi, Abby.
Ken, I've heard that having birds as friends like that is a lifetime commitment. Is that right?
Yeah, she'll probably outlive me.
Wow. I mean, they'll live like 30 or 40 years.
Yep.
Holy cow. So careful what you say. They may have a long memory. Okay. Where's a link when you need it? I know I put it in here. I tell you, Facebook is the toughest thing to search. If they could improve one thing about it.
There's my green.
Ah, yeah. There you go, Rich. All right. Woo. But I have my official lemonade container tonight, and it's just
Camera.
lemonade. And I was this close to pulling the trigger on a whole mess of those for 2020. I had the artwork all done. It was just a matter of saying, okay, how many people are going to be there? How many do I get? And no, 'twas not to be had. All right. Where the heck is this link? Well, let's go get it.
That's interesting. Zoom places it in the correct orientation here. You guys can read it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It mirrors your video, or you can turn it off if you'd
Which
like.
Facebook Live does that?
Yeah, that would be nice. I tested earlier. I was feeding Facebook Live from the external on my vMix. It was a much nicer experience.
All right. I think we're making some progress here. Okay. I have put for anybody that's watching live, I've put the invitation to join us in the Streaming Idiots Facebook group. So there is kind of a little threshold to entry. That is, you have to already be a streaming idiot because, no telling if Rich Ignacio had not already been a streaming idiot and he had crashed this party, who knows what we would be seeing right now. But since we know him and can hold him accountable, he's had to behave. But only this time. So I had the best laid plans for this year. Oh gosh, it was going to be great. Scott Whitney was going to loan us his studio again, and we were going to have the interviews, but different interviews. Ken, I was going to have you interviewed. Dave and Kenny were going to interview you. There's Miranda and Maggie. Woo! All right, ladies are here. All right, guys, clean up your acts. Welcome. Glad you guys are here. Unmute yourselves and join right in. Well, you're already unmuted, so
Hey,
glad you're here.
Hello.
What's the weather like up your way?
It's sunny. I'm burnt. Do you see my cheeks are so red, more red than usual. So I went outside for lunch and went outside after 5. It was awesome. Yep.
All right. Oh, Dave's here.
Nice.
No, we were gonna.
Miranda, I thought it was raining back there.
What
Back
did you
here?
say?
Yeah, in Michigan.
It might honestly be raining now that we're inside. I think it
probably
was
raining
starting
now.
to like get kind of gross out when we came inside, but it was sunny all day. It was awesome.
Oh, good.
No snow.
Okay. Let's see. Anyway, so if you're watching, not part of this group, there's Boris. Welcome, sir. Glad to have you. Long time no talk to.
It's
Boris
great
is-
to be back. Wow.
Boris, are you still out in on the West
San
Coast?
Diego.
Yep. Okay. We have a strong West Coast contingent tonight.
I was, just so everybody knows, I was doing a live stream from Baltimore, Maryland, and I got sick. And I was flat on my back for almost, for a little over a year. Stuck in
Wow.
Baltimore for 6 months. And yeah,
Boy, stuck in
Wow.
Baltimore would be bad enough. I mean, even if you were well. Holy cow.
well, I'm back in San Diego and doing well. Thanks. So
Good.
it's good to, you know what? I just accidentally ran into your Facebook post and you gave this to me and I've gone, wow, this is
Mhm.
great.
Good.
I've been using Zoom like crazy for the last 2 months. So
Really?
Like
You're
every-
about the only one. I don't know anybody else using Zoom.
what a difference in quality over anything else.
Yeah, it makes a
Anyway.
good connection. Hello,
I'll mute
Jeffrey.
myself.
Welcome.
I'll
Hello,
mute
Joel.
myself out.
No, I figured we'd give it a few minutes and see, kind of the first wave of folks to join us, and then we do some introductions. But if you're wondering how you can get in on this august group, if you're a member of Streaming Idiots on Facebook, you can go to the Streaming Idiots Facebook page. There's a link there to join the meeting. It's not just kind of a flat out anybody come link. You have to register. So, we're kind of holding you accountable a little bit. So if Miranda and Maggie get wild, we will know their email address so that we can have them
Who, us?
thoroughly,
Never.
appropriately disciplined.
We're in Mason, not in Vegas, Tom.
That's right.
I have to see these neighbors every day.
Yeah, that's right. There is some built-in accountability. That's right. That's great.
Ken, your bird. Go, Mary.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Ken, I love your bird. He's so cute.
Yeah, this is Abby. She likes to be involved in all the projects around here.
Oh, come on. You hear us talking about another animal?
She's shy.
We got a fur friend coming in. He probably knew we were streaming. He's a diva. He wants to be on all the time.
And Chuck is
Go.
here. Welcome, Chuck.
Your cat saw the bird.
Yup.
Careful.
Yeah, so super cute.
So if you guys are watching and not in this group, go to the Streaming Idiots group. There's a link there to register. You can jump right in. There's no charge. Chuck has underwritten the cost for this entire group.
Only if I can get the file that Dave Edwards has in the back with the clock going.
Aha.
I like
Well,
that.
come on, tune into the Streaming Idiots show tomorrow because Dave is going to be our special guest.
Oh, good.
Woohoo.
Look at that.
There you go.
is.
Very
That's
cool.
What time it is?
Somebody asked me the other day, said, Tom, do you have any other kind of guests on your show besides special guests? Because everybody's a special guest.
Well, it's a special.
I
show.
arrive on the short bus every time.
Well, you're very special, Dave. You're very special. Now, Dave's going to talk about the new, the rumor of the new NVIDIA third encoder. And he's shaking his head no. And he's going to talk about the new app that Harvard released yesterday that allows you to see and channel audio. That's going to be really cool. A lot of people are going to like that. And then, yeah, there it is right there. And then, what was the other thing, Dave? Oh, the NVIDIA voice. Yeah, which is unlike the vMix voice that was an April Fool's joke. I think this is going to be the for real thing. And apparently it will screen out all of your background audio except your voice. So we'll see just how well it does that, whether it does it as well as other things like the Waves Audio NS1 noise suppressor. So that'll be fun. That will be fun. Chuck and Nick were in the vMix 101 class this afternoon. Chuck coming in as an alumni. And Maggie and Miranda, I think you guys were signed up for it at one point too, and you can come back and join the existing class anytime you want as alumni.
I need to come back. Get a refresher course.
Polish up. Yep. Today we talked about shortcuts and triggers and virtual sets and multi-view. It was a jam-packed class. That's why Chuck looked so haggard, because he was just intently
How long
hanging
did
on
the
every
classes
word.
last? How many hours?
Daily, I think it runs between 2 hours and 2.5, and then it's once a week for 6 weeks. And so we're covering the basics, but some of the stuff we take a pretty deep dive in. I mean, like multi-view. There were a lot of people commenting today, that they never really understood how the layers in multi-view worked and what they meant. So it's just that kind of basic understanding. We've all, well, not all of us, but a lot of us have operated vMix and have had a chance to play with it and see kind of how things go. But there are probably things that happen and, it's like, well, why did that happen? Or why am I not getting the result I want? And that's what a class like this is for. Just to.
In that multi-view, do you cover that new option that they put in called mix?
No, we don't. We don't, but I'd be happy to share my knowledge. What's that, Chuck?
What is that?
We talked about it today. You weren't taking. Oh, that's right. That was the part where you fell asleep. I remember. Okay. It's a new feature that's come in, and frankly, I haven't figured out a good use for it. So when I do, I will talk about it. Neil is here. Neil and his church were the winners of the church giveaway last Easter. And he is up in somewhere near Perth, Australia, I think.
Hastings, Minnesota.
Hastings, Minnesota. I missed it by that much. I was really close. How's it going, Neil?
Things are good. It is amazing how providential that whole thing was a year ago. I mean, it was a rush when it all came. And the crazy thing is we had time to install everything. I mean, you worked with me on that, and then we got our team trained and tested over the summer, and then we've been streaming ever since September. And when this whole thing came up, it was like, well, our elder board was like, well, we got it figured out. So just amazing how provident, and just people are like, Neil, where did we find you? Because I'm new, so that makes everything a whole lot easier. So
Good. Welcome. Kyle is here. Welcome, Kyle.
Hello.
Good evening. Glad to have you.
Hey, Kyle.
Hey.
Hi, everybody.
Kyle is the notorious winner of every online drawing known to man. He has 43 versions of X keys that he's won online, and about 20
Actually,
PTZ cameras.
Never won an X key.
Never won an X key. Oh
Nope.
my gosh.
we gotta make that happen.
Oh my gosh.
Jack's keys in the wild.
We like doing giveaways.
Pretty
Make
much
that
any
happen.
PTZ optics giveaway, I have all that. Joysticks, cameras, you name it, I got it. Hats, T-shirts,
They
books.
do have some fun shirts.
So what's your secret, Kyle?
My secret was when they started doing the trivia, I had a faster connection than everybody else.
He probably uses an X keys to win. Boom, boom, boom. He's probably hitting those triggers faster than anyone else
Probably
can
uses 2
comment.
mice.
That's right.
Just 1 mice, 3 screens, and a dedicated 500 megs internet.
But how many VMix mouse pads do you have? Because I might have you beaten that one.
I have at least one of every U.S. made one. I haven't got the European ones yet.
Ooh, the European ones were fun.
Yeah, they were.
I can't travel that far.
Tulips.
I think I brought some back. I'll have to see if I have any extras. Well, yeah, here's one right here.
There it is. Oh, there it is. Yep, the football
Got
one.
that one.
Maggie, do you have one of the original, just black ones with the VMix logo?
I do. Isn't it? Wasn't it down here? We don't have it here. I think it's in the studio. I think it was actually Sliders, and he didn't take it though. He left it for us.
I have one from 3 years ago, I think, that's autographed by Martin and Tim. And it took
You have it in a
forever
case?
to convince
Wow.
Martin to autograph it. He didn't want to do it. He's like, no,
I
no,
can't
no, no,
believe
no.
you got Martin to do that. Honestly,
I know.
You should frame that, Tom.
Welcome, Craig.
Seriously.
Craig is here not once, but twice.
I hear a child. Oh my God.
All right. So, Chuck, what is that mountain behind you? Hey, Ron. Welcome, sir. Glad to have you. Ron is actually just up the road from me in Daphne, Alabama. All right. So it looks like all the cool people are here. We can get started. Does anybody know in Zoom how many you can get on this grid before you have something else happen?
What do we got now?
49.
49 on one page.
But you gotta check the right box to get there.
Huh.
So it's under your settings, I believe.
Okay. Thank you, Boris.
And normally it's 25 and you can set a shortcut and use your X keys to go to the next 25.
Okay. I think
I don't know what happens when you do 49.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, there is a display up to 49 participants, so I'll give that a wing. Let's see what happens. Scott's here. Hey, the party can start. Welcome, sir. Glad to have you. Man, I tell you what, you'd still be cleaning up your studio from last week's Streaming Idiots meetup if we had really showed up there. I mean, you dodged a bullet.
You think so, huh?
Scott has been the gracious host of this meetup for the first 2 years. And then we thought, oh, it's going to get so big, it's going to overrun his studio and everybody's going to make off with all his equipment. So we tried something different last year, but we're going back to the studio
Hold
next
on,
time.
hold on. I got to turn off this. Hold on here. There we go. And you're coming in 2 ear holes. All right, now we're talking. What's going on, everybody? What's happening?
And JB's here. Welcome,
Las Vegas,
JB.
97 degrees, people.
Yeah.
Same here,
Oh,
97.
Better
I
thee
was
than
dying
me.
for it to get here. I love.
Oh, we're having a burger with Dave. That's nice. I've always liked Dave and his burgers.
All right, let's
I
see.
brought snacks. Just reach to the screen and grab something.
That's right. I am
hungry.
I have Smarties and Dum Dums. So
Lucky.
I kind of want that cheeseburger instead.
And I was talking.
Dum Dums. Doesn't that kind of, it's like an oxymoron? They cancel each other out.
Well, it's kind of like the positive and negative charge terminals on a battery. You don't want to get them too close together, or there'll be sparks. When I was talking to Ken Richer with the Spangler Candy Company, they're the ones that make Dum Dums, and I told him I was just about out. He said he's going to send me a 40-pound bag of Dum Dums. Wow. So I mean, it's going to be Dum Dums for everybody.
It's nice.
And speaking of Dum Dums, Ryan's here.
There he is.
Sorry about that, Ryan. It's just all about timing, man. Good to see you. He's looking well. He doesn't look 53. I mean, he is the best well-preserved 53 you're going to find out there. It is amazing. It is amazing. All right. So should we take attendance? Let's take a moment while we're still in gathering mode, but let's take a moment just to kind of introduce ourselves. I mean, we don't have name tags, but we do have name tags.
Have name tags.
And yeah, well, X keys is not exactly a qualifier. But if you would introduce yourself, where you're from or where you are today, and then maybe just a little quick snippet about your experience with live streaming, or if you've got a short story that you want to tell about live streaming, or your first experience with live streaming, or something like that. So I'm going to let ladies first. So we're going to let Maggie on the left and Miranda on the right share with us. So if you guys would introduce yourselves individually.
All right. Well, I'm Miranda. Been working for PI engineering for about 7 years now. Go ahead.
Yep, I'm Maggie. It's been a good 15 for me. I don't know how. It's been so long. It flies when you're having fun, I suppose. So, we're rocking X keys.
Yep, we're in Mason, Michigan, where it was sunny today, but now I think it's raining. But we got some sun. Yep. And we do a live show every Friday called Spiny Talk, sponsored by X Keys. So we've been doing live streaming I've been doing it for a couple years now.
Yep, vMix and X Keys have a great relationship. The guys over there integrated us many years ago, and we just rode the wave along with it. And we have people like Tom and everyone in this group that uses our stuff and helps support our stuff. So we love you guys, and we're just here to hang out. This used to be one of the favorite things about NAB is going to the meetup, and so we're happy to be here. We make a lot of cool hardware. Got any questions, feel free to reach out to us.
And don't let those pretty faces fool you. Number one, those are some smart ladies, and some pretty mean bowlers, and they can do some pretty wild karaoke. So,
people.
Yeah, speed bowl is our specialty. We had karaoke booked this year. We'll have to tune in for next year. We're gonna do it. The streaming karaoke, Spiny.
So we got a whole year to get voice lessons. That's a good thing.
Yep. Exactly.
Good thing. Good thing. All right. Well, let's switch over to Rich, because at least on my screen, he's right up there with you guys.
Hey, everybody. I hope you guys can hear me okay. So I'm over here up in Northern California near Sacramento. I've been streaming for about 10 years, sort of like an extreme streamer. I did jet ski racing, motocross racing. And right now I'm just doing church streaming. Not much going on.
Fucking Rich. Hey, Rich, can I interrupt you
You're
real
muted.
quick?
Sure.
Unmute us. I don't think Tom's sharing the Zoom screen properly. I'm getting notifications from people watching that no one knows what's going on. Are they supposed to be able to see all of us?
Yeah, that would help, wouldn't it?
Sorry, Rich. I was just like, before you actually get going. So I don't want
Well,
to
you guys,
miss out.
well, you guys have to repeat yourself too.
Oh, no, we're good.
Exactly.
Sorry, Rich. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you, watch friend who's watching.
All right, keep going, Rich. They've got audio.
Okay, so yeah, I've been streaming for about 10 years. Started with a jet ski crowd and moved up to power sports, from that flyboard stuff that you guys see, the guy with the jet streams coming out of their feet, to the one that kind of made me famous was the flyboard air, the French guy that has actual jet packs on his platform and it's flying around everywhere. When I did that live stream, it just went viral. So that's my claim to fame.
That was awesome. Okay, who will be next while I work out this capture thing? Scott, how about you?
Hello, I'm your friend Scott Whitney from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. My first live stream was an accidental porn. I didn't know the live stream was running. I was captured. It scared me a little bit. Made a lot of money, though, come to find out. Being naked and slightly overweight's very financially beneficial. I enjoy long walks on the beach and cold toilet seats. I find lots of things enjoyable in life, not including baby kittens. And I like ketchup on my chocolate. I know it's weird, and I'm seeking therapy for that. Other than that, though, really happy to be here. I've been live streaming professionally since 2009, online broadcasting since 2006 professionally, and I love what I do, and I love every one of you. By the way, if you want to see what it looks like in Las Vegas right now, this is the Las Vegas Strip, and as you can tell, it's sad and lonely, and it misses all of you, especially the good people at Marshall's there, and that one guy walking under there. That guy owes me money, by the way. Other than that, though, we welcome you back as soon as you can. Please come. We've missed every one of you.
Well, okay. I don't want to be the person to follow that. Holy cow. So let's see. So Dave, I'm going to throw you under the bus. You're next.
And I knew it. Set my Apple aside here. I'm Dave Edwards. I'm in Palmdale, California, about probably 45 minutes out of Los Angeles to the north into the Mojave Desert, and about 3 hours and 20 minutes from Scott Whitney right now. That's what it takes me to drive over that way.
Miss you, Dave.
Yeah, me too, Scott. I tell you.
And
I've been
Dave
watching
is
your
Scott's
videos.
cameraman.
What? Now Nick is my cameraman. But in any case, I've been dabbling around with live streaming for about 8 years. I work for WSN, Worldwide Streaming Network. I've been there since 2017. And we supply streaming services and systems and support to schools and municipalities and churches. And that's what we're in the process of doing now. We just kicked off a new church business entity called Spread His Word. So be on the lookout for Spread His Word. And if you've got a church that needs to stream, point them my way. We'll take care of them. Back over to you, Tom.
Good job, Dave. Good job, Dave. Okay, let's see. How about Ken? Ken Richard is here. Ken is the one I was telling you about later that's going to send me like 5 tractor trailer loads of dum-dums. I can hardly wait. Ken and I go.
The dum-dums and the Smarties are going to cancel each other out.
Yeah, that's right.
You're going to end up with nothing. Maybe a small Volkswagen full of something.
But Ken and I go way back to the Vid Blaster days. Holy cow, Ken!
Wow.
Dive
I'm
in.
surprised you even bring that up.
Well, I've been streaming for a little bit. I'm a one-man band. I have no studio like
Oh,
others
sorry.
might do that.
There are two Kens. I forgot.
Oh,
Go ahead, Ken Benedict.
let me keep rambling on here because that's what I do best. And one-man band, and I just keep doing some local school stuff, local sports stuff. Done roller derby and football, all kinds of sports for high schools that are easy to do, and it's changed a lot in the last few weeks. Now I'm helping churches and town hall meetings do what they do, and I'm one of the few owners, or one of the lucky owners of the Sinclair suitcase, the small little thing that Tom's putting together and I'm putting together, and we're gonna compare notes, see how well they work. That's it for me.
All right, and Ken is the only person that we know of that's live streams with a bird. Yes. And is Abby close by or is she gone? Just out of reach. Okay. Let's flip
she's
over.
right up there watching me.
It's getting close to dinner time. Let's flip over to the other Ken. He and I go back to the dinosaur days of live streaming. Holy cow. Welcome, Ken. Glad to have you.
Thanks. It's good to be here. Hope you can hear me okay.
Indeed.
Okay. Yeah. I've been streaming for well over 10 years. Started back in the software that shall not be named days, and did our first live TV broadcast using that, and also a sling catcher. I don't know if anybody remembers the days of the sling catcher, sling receiver. It was like a point-to-point type of IP transport way back in the day. And it was squirrely and it was temperamental, to say the least. But I started with college sports due to a friend that's around here that does play-by-play and everything. He roped me into it, and been getting better, and I hope getting better and doing more every year. I now, besides working for the Dum Dum Factory, I'm a general manager of a low-power TV station here in the area, and we do high school sports. Sometimes we do it live, and the people at the TV station have two big production trucks that they've put six figures into each one of them, and they are amazed what I can get out of my low five-figure vMix machine and rack and everything, because I think I've proven some things to them as far as portability and flexibility, and things are not the big trucks anymore, and it's been a lot of fun to educate them and just to do it in general. And Tom is my vMix reseller and done a great job supporting me.
Well, he's not paid much to say that, but we'll take it.
And I do have a 400 count bag of Dum Dums poised to ship to you. We do actually ship a combo bag of Dum Dums and Smarties in the same bag, but since you already have Smarties there, I'll just do the Dum Dums.
No way. You guys distribute Smarties?
We distribute them. We don't manufacture them, but
Right.
we have an e-commerce platform where we package them together. And,
oh my gosh. Oh, this is the best day ever.
So you can go to dumdumpops.com if you want to see the company that I work for and see everything that they offer online.
You know, it's fun walking down the candy aisle in Walmart because everybody's smiling on the candy aisle. It's the only aisle in the store where everybody's smiling because they're getting something that they're looking forward to.
Well, we also make candy canes. If you go to Walmart at Christmas time, probably 2/3 of the candy canes that you see on the shelf there are made at our factory in Bryan, Ohio. So we're up in the northwest corner of Ohio, about 40 miles west of Toledo, and Michigan's just to our north and Indiana's just to our west. So we're way up in the corner.
Are you guys operating today, or are y'all shut down?
We're operating on a reduced staff.
Mm-hmm.
We offered voluntary layoff to people that felt more comfortable being at home for a few weeks.
Right.
That's going to come to an end starting Monday. We're going to call those people back to work, and so it's been really strange. We set up a lot of people to work at home as they wanted to, and it's been very successful, but we got to keep the doors open and keep the lights on.
That's right. That's right. And you got to be able to send Tom his dum-dums. I get it.
Got to do
Okay.
that. Yeah. I'm going to talk to Amanda in our sample room tomorrow and get them over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Ken. All right, let's flip back up to the top row, at least my top row. Michael Bird, come share who, when, where, and why.
Sure. So can you guys hear me all right?
Yes, indeed.
Great. So I'm a new kid to the block here. Actually, I live up not too far as the country goes from Tom. I'm in North Alabama. This is a actual picture of the United States Space and Rocket Center located here in Huntsville. We do the Marshall Space Flight Center and several similar type activities out on Redstone Arsenal. So that's kind of my day job, is working out not in space. I work in defense, but and then my fun job is to work in live streaming, work in video production. Live streaming is a little newer to me. Picked that up when I came to a new church about a year and a half ago, and they were streaming with a Mevo on a tripod about 12 feet from the platform. And I said, no, that's not going to do. So we picked up vMix and set a system in place, and we've been running ever since. Fortunately, we were already a mobile church. So this whole situation of being kicked out of the school we were meeting in, we're now actually meeting in a furniture store where we set up our mobile studio each week and broadcast live from there. But since everything was already on wheels and in stage boxes, we were able to roll out and roll into a new spot. So we enjoy it, and I'm really enjoying getting to see the community, what everybody's doing. So I'm looking forward to continuing a long time in the streaming world.
Awesome. Glad to have you. Glad to have you close by too. That's great. But by the way, folks, my apologies for not doing a screenshot of the Zoom room. I mean, what can I say? I'm an idiot. So there's proof right there. But if you'd like to get in on this party, you are very welcome. Two qualifications. One is a pulse, of course, and the second is that you're already a member of the Streaming Idiots group on Facebook. So if you go to the Streaming Idiots group on Facebook, Cliff, I'm talking to you, there is a link right there in the comments of this live stream in the Streaming Idiots group on Facebook, where you can you have to register. We did want just a teeny threshold, so we didn't want anybody crashing, with no underpants or something like that. Which we've heard has been happening to Zoom. So, well, yeah, I know the Scott's already here, but that doesn't count. Yeah, exactly. He wasn't going to miss that one. He wasn't going to let that one float by. So if your name is Cliff and you'd like to join us, then you're more than welcome. Just go to the Streaming Idiots group, and there is this live stream, and then one of the comments in this live stream has got the link to the Zoom room. So great. So let's see. Daniel, and is it Eidenskog? Is that correct, Daniel, or did I even come close? Oh, you unmuted yourself, but I don't think your mic's active. So, yeah, either that or I'm not listening as well as I could or should. Let me give you a minute to work on that, and we're going to go to the darkness. Apparently, Kyle Gunderman is close to the edge of the earth where there is no lighting there. Kyle, welcome. Tell us who you are, where you are, and how you got associated with live streaming.
Well, my name is Kyle Gunderman. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. I work at a public school district, and 6 years ago we got a grant to get some streaming equipment. We had a old studio that was all analog and coax distribution within school to TVs. So we got an internal streaming server, a bunch of cameras, different stuff. And then I was asked by the athletic director, could we live stream softball games? And I said, sure, why not? And now 6 years later, we're doing some softball games, football games, basketball, trying to get more kids involved. This year I actually started with they have an activity period once a week that is like for games or chess club, different things like that. And I got kids working with me and then we get shut down. So right now they're sitting at home, not being involved, trying to figure out how we could do stuff with them remotely. I was just out at the softball field today with the coach. He's built a brand new stadium, basically a whole new press box, and I worked with him how to get what we needed for wiring to get that all on the internet and be ready for streaming when they do come back live. This has been fun because I'm going to date myself, but I went to school for video production back in the 80s at Syracuse University. Never really got a job in the industry and went into computers, and that's where I've been working the last 30 years doing IT support. And so now, the last 4 or 5 years, computers and video are combined, so it's best of both worlds for me.
Awesome.
And just working from home, I got my office set up in my back room, and I'd never been in here at night. I didn't realize how dark it is in here.
And Kyle, you have a reputation. Can you share that reputation with us?
I don't think I have a reputation. You keep mentioning that.
Okay.
I may have won a few of PTZ Optics trivia's last 2 years ago now when they were doing that, and got a lot of their swag. Finally won one of their cameras.
Yes,
which
he
I'm
did.
using right now.
Kyle has a whole RV parked out front filled with swag that he bought off of he won off of PTZ Optics. That was great.
Actually, I didn't. Once I got to one thing, and if I won it again, I didn't take it from them. So there's a bunch of joysticks that could be mine that I never took.
What a good guy. What a good guy.
Well, also at the time, I didn't have a camera, so they were really worthless to me.
Gotcha. All right, Daniel, how about you? Have you got audio to share with us?
I hope so.
Yes. All
Can you
right.
hear me this time? Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Too much technology on a single desk. I had muted myself in vMix. So, yeah, you're almost correct, or not, perhaps, with my name, but it's Eidenskog in Swedish.
Okay.
So, I'm in, right outside a town called Linköping in Sweden. So it's a bit further off than most of you. And it's like 2:30 in the morning right here. So I probably should have been in bed, but I'm not. So I'd rather be here.
Well done, sir.
Thanks. I got into streaming perhaps 3 years ago, and I started right off by trying some different solutions and ended up with vMix, and it's been a tremendous thing to have. I've mostly been streaming dog sports, actually, and I'm the surprised puppy guy from the YouTube comments that you've seen a few.
Oh yes,
before.
All right,
and, yeah,
very good.
And I actually have one of my furry companions here. If I can frame it a bit and then push some kind of. Oh, that was difficult. So. Here's Suki, the Welsh Springer Spaniel, one of our 4 dogs as well. So fast asleep here in the middle of the night. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think that was about it. Yep.
Good, Daniel. Thank you. Good to have a face to go with the name. That's the joy of this kind of stuff. I want to give a shout out to John Simon and Jared Quinn and Cliff Sobel and Michael Cole and Dave Andrew and Rick Mitchell and TJ Thompson that are watching us on the Streaming Idiots Facebook group. And you guys are welcome to join us. There is a link in the chat there that you can link up and join us. Also to Al Andrew in Melbourne and Eric Pratt up in New Hampshire. So glad to have you. Glad to have you. I see Rich has got a friend with him today that has a crook in his neck. So let's see. Let's go right up the road to Daphne, Alabama. Ron Wallace. Ron, introduce yourself and tell us well, I've already introduced you and I've already said where you're from. So tell us about live streaming. What you got going on there? Can't hear you. Can't hear you. No, very, very faintly, just a little bit. Let me give you a minute to work on that. And we're going to go over to Ryan, who, well, he used to be called Ryan, but now he's sharing things that we probably don't need to share in mixed company. No, Ryan Brenneman. Ryan, introduce yourself. Where are you from? Tell us about your live streaming experience.
Hello, everyone. So I am wearing pants. I just want to say that I got my start with a cameraman as Scott's fluffer in a studio. And that's how it all kind of started 3 years
Ryan.
ago.
Hey, Ryan, here's a tip. Keep that to yourself, okay?
Yeah. Well, 3 years ago at a Streaming Idiots meetup, I just grabbed his camera and started going to town.
Hey, Ryan, let's not use that name for the other thing that we had that name for. Okay, Ryan? Good talk.
I tugged on that puppy and I got everyone in frame.
Don't mean to interrupt, but stop it.
Well,
people are listening. I don't need people that know what our key kind of words are. Now get to telling your story, you crazy kid. You're my hero.
So 3 years ago, I took every penny I had and I flew myself to Las Vegas. And I knew I wanted to kind of do this thing. And so it's been kind of fun learning from all of you and the mentorship thing. So what have we been up to? Well, we just started a new podcast called The Smart Live Streamer and got to record another episode tomorrow. But other than that, I've been doing a bunch of stuff. I don't know if I can share this thing. Oh, no, I can't because I got a Mac. Anyway, we're doing a lot of live streaming of school stuff, doing a lot of funerals. And other than that, just kind of getting our studio up and going with our podcast space and our other stuff. So that's pretty much it. So if you want to check it out, if you're up for a podcast, I know there's not many podcasts in this space, but we just launched it on Spotify and Apple and Google. It's called The Smart Live Streamer. And I should change my name. I shouldn't have like I'm not wearing pants and then promote my podcast. Maybe that's not smart marketing. But I'm in this really cool mastermind with Scott Whitney in the Scott Whitney Academy. And that's the stuff he teaches us.
Not to wear pants. Okay. You know, it's going to get attention. There's no doubt about that.
That's why we're so successful, Tom, is because we go through life without wearing pants. And if you want to get someone's attention, meet with them without wearing pants. You're welcome.
Oh my gosh. If you don't take anything else away from this gig tonight, don't take that away for sure. No. Okay, let's flip over to Ron. See if we got some audio from Ron. Ron, what's going on, man?
Can you hear me now, Tom?
Yes, we can.
All right. Yeah, like Tom said, I'm right up the street from him here in Daphne. He's in Fairhope. Been live streaming now about 2 years. Been with vMix for about a good year now. Good switch because vMix has a lot of options versus what Switcher Studio has. Live stream high school sports. Started out with basketball, now into football. Do a lot of interviews. I have a show, Tom, called The Interview. I've been interviewing a lot of college coaches, high school athletes. We're actually going to have a meetup where we're just discussing whatever sports going on because the pandemic has taking a real toll on athletics this season. So, but other than that, man, it's been good. I got to get ready to upgrade to HD, full HD. Just on the basic right now, so I can have more inputs and stuff like that. But with Tom being a good mentor and showing us how to do things, that's my vendor for vMix. But other than that, it's been great.
Great. So glad you're here. Now let's flip across the world where it's autumn and it's let's see, what time is it? It's probably about 11 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, something like that. Andrew Seabrook, welcome, sir. So delighted to have you with us tonight. You honor us with your presence.
Well, gee, thanks. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic, because I'm using, thank you, Dave Edwards. He's the man in terms of telling you what's happening in the tech world. And he led us on to RTX voice from NVIDIA. So I'm actually sitting in my new house, which is in a little place called Casterton, which is about 500 kilometres from Melbourne, which is one of the main cities in Australia. And it's on the main road. It's on the main road. So we'll hear, we may hear logging trucks go past and various others, but at the moment, this seems to work really, really well. So we'll see how it goes. In terms of my background, I'm actually a drama and media teacher. That's where I started off. So I was did all my training back in the 1970s. So it gives you an idea how that was going on. And in those days, all the video gear was black and white originally, using big tapes and so on. And at the college I went to, we had the very first colour camera in Australia, other than the major broadcasters. So segue 20 or so years later, and I'd moved around the place quite a bit, run an ISP, started up a little IT consulting firm, and so on. I got tapped on the shoulder and went into IT permanently. So I left teaching, and for the last 20 years I've been working in the IT industry. So Rich, not quite as in depth as you. I teach stuff called ITIL, which is process stuff as well. Whereas I know Rich, you work for IBM, don't you? Something like that. Yeah, he's nodding his head. So anyway, did all of that. And about 2009, I also, outside of all of this, I coach basketball, both at a junior level and an adult level, and the level under our national leagues, in the state leagues here. And one of the clubs that I was working with, the requirement was to film all of the games for coaching purposes and for tribunals and various other bits and pieces. And I sort of, the way everyone was doing it was onto VHS tapes, sort of onto a camcorder, then you dub onto a VHS tape, and then you had to duplicate the tapes, and it was just too much work. So I started looking around, how can I improve that workflow? And suddenly the technology got cheap enough to be able to do things. And I started recording onto PVRs and so on. And then came across that other program that Tom is loath to mention. And like Tom, was an MVP for that particular product. And yes, like Tom, also got sacked. But we did all of that. And I know, Tom, you keep on talking about how you got into vMix, but I do remember having conversations with you before that happened, saying that vMix and that other program actually worked really well together, and that you should look at this thing called vMix. But anyway, so I've been playing around with vMix from about 2011, I suppose. And then, like another Australian, one of the Australian guys, John Bowman, up in Sydney, he and I are two of the resellers of vMix here in Australia. Plus, I resell Maggie and Miranda. I resell X Keys and a few other bits and pieces, a lot of Bird Dog stuff as well. So, who are mates down in Collingwood, not too far from where I am. So there you go. I could go on forever and a day, and probably have done too much.
No. It's just a delight to have you here and to listen to the stories. It's funny to be in a new industry like this. I still say it's new, but yet, we've got war stories that go back, 10 years now, which in computer years, kind of like dog years, that's like, a whole lifetime. Really,
yeah,
really
it really
neat.
is.
So I want to give a shout out to the folks that are watching us on the YouTube chat. We've got somebody from VMix in there. I'm not sure if it's Martin or Tim, and Stevie.
I think it's Tim.
From is it Tim? Okay, Stevie from the UK, and Chad LaForge, and Joe DeMax, and Steve Matthews, and Ahmed, and Cliff, and Tim, and Tommy Willis. Oh my gosh, Tommy Willis, and Al, and a News Fan 77. And let's see. Well, oh, and John and Jan is here. Why are you not in this screen right here, Jan? Or at least your lovely wife, Marie. To heck with you. We'll take Marie. That's for sure. Yep. What is Rich? Who are you pointing to? Because every screen has got different people on it. I'm looking at two different screens, and they're arranged differently. Yeah, that's right. Well, let's get Bill on for a quick introduction. Just if you will, introduce yourself, where you're from, and you know how you got into live streaming, or a favorite story about live streaming. Bill Connor.
So I'm from the North Texas area, and I got introduced with Tom a few years ago after my first brush with Wirecast didn't go as expected. So we moved over to vMix. My use case is a little bit different because I actually started out in the automotive industry about 40 years ago and have transitioned through everything until I became a trainer. And then working for different companies, I actually was doing where I'd have to travel and do training classes on 1 on 25, 1 on 50, 1 on 100. And through the streaming tools that we have now, I can do 1 on 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 at a time. In my use cases, I have to go ahead and bring in PowerPoint presentations, desktop captures, iPad tablet captures to go ahead and demonstrate software and training, along with being able to use the telestrator over the top of it to draw their attention to it. And vMix has been a really great tool to do that. And now I've got other people at the same company I work for actually adopting the same practices. So it's pretty interesting when we go to our meetings. At first, they were all bashful and you couldn't even get them on camera. Now they've got full sets behind them and, you know, using a green screen and so on. So it's really worked out pretty good, but I do have an unusual use case that I actually use it for. And thanks for asking me, Tom.
But of course, Phil. Let's see. Let's flip over to Nick Nichols. Back to Las Vegas. Nick.
Hey guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Very good. I just want it known that I did put pants on, to be quite honest. I was sitting out there without them on, and I thought, it'd be just my luck I'd stand up. So I went back. God has taught me well. I have been live streaming about 3 years. I've been in IT, about 25 now. I work with Scott and set up his networks and make him sing. My job is to make sure that Scott sings the whole time he's on site. So that's what I do. And talk to Ryan about, every couple days, it seems like. And this quality image is what happens when you have a gig up in town at home. It is one of the wonderful things of Las Vegas that we just all enjoy out here. So back to you, Tom.
All right. Very good. Very good. And Nick, for those of you that were at the Streaming Idiots meetup, not last year on the floor of NAB, but 2 years ago at Scott's studio, Nick was really the force behind that, to just handle all the logistics and made it so very easy and wonderful to pop in and do that. And Nick, my hat is still off to you.
Thank you. I'm super upset I'm not doing it this year, because I had all sorts of ideas for this year, a lot of which I hadn't even told Scott yet, because, he's kind of conservative with some of those things. But yeah. Too bad we're not doing it this year, because we really had some great plans. Really did.
Well, I still am trying to figure out how you were going to use the jaws of life. I mean, that just I didn't get that.
You can't let that out. We got to save that stuff. There's always next year.
That's right.
And please don't tell Ryan, because well, they were kind of going to be used for Ryan. Oh, and wait, before I get unmuted, because sooner or later I'll get muted. Rich is my hero. I just want everybody to know that. Anybody that can get paid to shoot jet skis and can crawl through sand to run cables, that's hero material right there, buddy.
Yeah.
Look, the girls are all clapping. Yeah, there you go.
That's right. Well, he was the one on top of the 20-foot scaffolding that was built on a sand beach. And what was it? A big wind came along and just, did it go all the way over, Rich, or did it just change position slightly?
It moved over 2 feet. So a 20, 30-foot announcing tower moved over 2 to 3 feet and almost toppled over.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, we'd have been reading about you in the paper on that one. I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad we didn't.
He was digging trenches through the sand to run his SDI cables.
Got it. All right, let's go back out to California. Boris, you want to get your mic on there and tell us, other than the fact that you're in California?
How do I do that?
You're good.
By the way, I figured out how to use Zoom as a mixer. So there's my street camera. And I could watch people coming and going all day long. Anyway, I have been in the audio business since '95, and then I got pulled into videos screaming, saying, "Hey, who'd want to watch a talking face?" I've done a lot of conferences where I did the audio and then we duplicate it right on site and do tapes to start with, and then it went to CDs, and now it's to streaming. And then in about 2009, I thought, well, maybe I should look at potentially live streaming video. So I got myself a cheap camera, and I did I found a capture card. I forget what capture card it was. I think it was a USB-based card. And I added a camera to that, and then I found something called Adobe Flash Media Server. Anybody ever hear of that? And then I added a software switcher that was meant for gaming. And that seemed to work. And then I went from, doing that to a product called, it starts with a V. I won't repeat it, Tom.
That's okay.
But he was a paisano, a fellow Dutchman. Anyway. And then I found Tom because he loved that particular product. And, that kind of went by the wayside. And the next thing I knew, I was using vMix. So long story short, I'm still using vMix. What a great product. There's other products that, get close to that. And I've replaced a few of them in the church environment. I do churches here in San Diego. So anybody that needs help in San Diego, let me know. I would be delighted to help you. Yeah, and it's great to be back again. I was out for over a year, not able to do anything, and by the grace of God, I'm back and I'm active again. So,
awesome.
Thank you.
Glad you're back and looking so well, Jeff, how about you? What's the story up there?
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff Widgren. I'm your new investigative guest tonight, and I've been at the streaming gig for about 10 years. Started at church and kind of saved the day from their first efforts of being about 30 feet away from a pulpit and trying to digitally Zoom with a webcam, and wondered why it looked horrible. and so I showed up with my home video camera and plugged it directly into the Teradek encoder and went from there. Back then, I think our users were receiving the stream directly in Microsoft Media Player. That lost connectivity. You were just dead in the water. It was horrible, just a horrible experience. But things have improved incredibly, and I naturally wanted to add some production quality to the deliverable, and so right now I'm on a competitive product, but certainly there's some frustrating areas. And as I learn more about what's out in the industry and options and choices, I can't ignore just the stellar reputation, and and this group is added evidence to that of what vMix has to offer as well. So I'm checking out the product, the community, the support, and so forth to see if it would be a play for a transition, and go from there. I'm an old tech guy. I've been in tech all my life, data center technologies in particular. Managed sales teams of sales engineers for Dell and Citrix and storage companies and so forth along my career. So anyways, having a good time doing what I'm doing. I'm in right smack in the middle of the United States in a city called Overland Park, Kansas, about 20 minutes south of Kansas City. So anyways, glad to be here.
Glad to have you, Jeff. Thank you, and hopefully we can win you over. Yeah. Let's have a shout out here to if somebody's joining and your mic is open, you may want to just mute yourself just for a little bit. That way you don't pick up any background noise. Just want to give a shout out and a welcome to Al Bunt. Alan is watching tonight. If you guys remember, Alan was probably one of my very first guests like 100 years ago. On that other show that we did. Michael Baker is here watching. Ed Griswold from Central Florida is here. Hey, Ed. Ed did the, well, probably still, or will still, did the live stream for the Tampa Bay Rowdies soccer team. John O'Malley, glad to have you. Harold Jones. Harold, welcome. Scott Gorman, Guy Cochran, Rick Manning. Rick, glad you're up and around. Rick was under the weather for a bit, but we're glad he's going back again. Let's see. Let's bring in a New Yorker. I don't know that we've had a New Yorker that has been represented yet. Do we have any New Yorkers present? Oh, there's one. Cliff Sobel. Come in and tell us who you are, where you are, and a favorite live streaming related thing.
So my name is Cliff Sobel. I'm from New York, and I'm wearing a dress.
Oh, so apparently you know Nick.
Certain parts of Manhattan, I might know Nick.
Every time he says that, I laugh. Every freaking time.
Anyway, let's see. I've been in the world of digital imaging for 35 years. I ran a company for 25 years called the Phoenix Group, and we built training and education in the area of digital imaging. So our clients were companies like Canon and Xerox. If anybody remembers the beginnings of DSLR video, one of the things that we were intimately involved with was the launch of the Canon 5D Mark II. We had the first one in the country. And I remember we were in the basement at Canon playing with the camera, and they plucked it out of our hands and they gave it to a guy by the name. They said, Vincent needs this. And they sent this camera out to Vincent LaFerre, who made a video called Reverie, which got so many hits that it crashed Akamai servers. And Akamai told Canon it was going to cost an extra $100,000 a week if they wanted to keep this video up. And that was the beginnings of DSLR video. Anyway, I moved on from my own company in 2015, and somebody told me about an app called Meerkat. And I started playing with it, and I was really entranced by it. And so I started digging into live video a little bit, and my first foray was the little Mevo. And that didn't last long. It was a quirky little product, and it really wasn't all that professional. And then I went in, I worked with Livestream Studio, and I wasn't really happy with it. And somehow I landed at PTZ Optics, and somebody in support said, "You got to call this guy from Alabama named Tom Sinclair, because he could set you up with a pretty good piece of software." Reason being was I was fortunate enough to work with a 7-time Grammy winner for about 10, 12 years. And he did a very large concert in Manhattan. And there was no way I actually the year before I had used the Mevo, and I live streamed part of the concert. I remember I live streamed Gary Brooker, who was the lead singer in Procol Harum. And I was like, this is not going to do. And so the next year, 1 month before the concert, I buy vMix, and I have no idea what I'm doing. And I get in and I buy this tool from Tom Sinclair, and a guy by Alan Zenreich helps me out learning vMix in 4 weeks. And in 4 weeks, I was dangerous enough or stupid enough to think that I could live stream a concert, and it was like a 6 or 8 camera show. And we used vMix. I had no idea what I was doing, but between Alan and Tom, they coached me through it, and I got through it and just kept on building from there. And now I actually have a live streaming business that brings in revenue, and I've made so many great friends in this industry all over the world. And there are times where I'll be in the middle of a show and something will go awry, and I can call Tom or I'll call Ryan, and they'll come in with TeamViewer and they'll like solve my issues. I've been very, very fortunate to learn so much from everybody in the Streaming Idiots group and all the relationships I've made all around the world. I feel very fortunate, and it's been great.
Well, and we're glad to have you. We'll keep you. What the heck? I mean, we're stuck with you. So there.
Well, you're the one who was always complimenting my dresses, Tom.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, can everybody hear us? Can you hear me? So this is a really fun party, but what's a party without some door prizes?
Oh.
First person to show us an X keys wins an X keys.
And go.
Shout out to X keys. Shout out to X keys. X keys.
First person up, Bill Connor.
I think it was Bill. Good
Bill
work,
Connor.
my friend.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Okay.
Shoot us an email, Bill at sales@xkeys.com.
I'll put it in the chat for you.
Love it.
That was
But I
fast.
have to have a
Love
mouthful.
it. Boy.
Kyle, how did you not win that?
Were we supposed to shout out via tweet or what?
You're supposed to show it, man. You had to be in the video for that.
Oh.
I had my X keys on the other computer with my iRacing rig, so I had to move to get it.
Wow.
There.
It's okay. Congratulations, Bill.
My-
That was quick.
Mine was right there, and I had to move to get it. And I said, nah, I got 3 already.
And we love you for that.
Yup.
Dave. All right. Sorry, Tom. Continue on.
No, that's all right. Oh, Ken got his. I think Ken gets the biggest
Ah.
I
award.
gotta get the 128.
Nice.
That's awesome, bud. I love it.
Yeah, that's a compensation X keys if there ever was one. Let me tell you. He doesn't have video today, but I want Dave Zakikian to come on. Dave, if you would unmute yourself and just introduce yourself and where you're from and tell us about your experience in live streaming.
Hey, Tom, are you able to hear me all right?
A little bit more volume.
All righty. How about that? Is that better?
Oh yeah, much better.
All righty. Yeah, great to be here. I'm fairly new into live streaming, started about 2 years ago. Got into it just to introduce video into our community where I live down here in Port Charlotte, Florida, the Gulf Coast. But we have a big community, 1,100 people that we record our business meetings and community meetings, and I put them out on YouTube and put it out to the website for the community that everybody really enjoys. And with Tom's help and PTZ Optics, we really got things going. Just got 3 new custom built PCs by Tom with X keys on all 3 PCs, working fantastic. With Tom's help again, getting them set up. So really doing great. We're looking forward to recording more stuff this season in the other buildings now that we have 3 community buildings. We only had the one building originally with the PTZ and being able to record the stuff, but now all 3 meetings, and we look to interconnect the meetings with the vMix software and be able to have larger crowds, and also do some live streaming of some of the events that go on. We're very active community, a lot of shows and stuff like that that the residents look forward to. We just got CenturyLink in to put a fiber optic network through the whole community that everybody's on, a minimum 100 by 100 up and down. And then my things, I got gig up and down on all the buildings. So really works great. And look forward to continue working with you guys and learning some more. I'm a rookie at doing all this. Like Tom said, my webcam's not playing well with Zoom here, so I can't get the darn thing to kick in. But I appreciate everybody's input. Thanks.
Well, I tell you what, it's Dave's fault, and this is Dave Zakikian now, not Dave Edwards. It's Dave's fault that that I learned how to make an X keys. What did we make it do? We made it work with the PTZ Optics camera to automatically reconfigure itself to a new preset. Isn't that what it was, Miranda?
Yes.
Go for it.
Oh,
Sorry,
I'm pretty sure.
unmuting.
Sorry, we were chatting with somebody. I'm pretty sure that's what you did. You were the one that figured it out, Tom. I don't know why you're asking us.
Well, because I had to
You had
get
some
your
wizardry.
I had to get your approval to do that. We put the buttons on
Yes,
backwards,
you
and that's
did.
all it took. Yeah.
No,
And
you
Dave
worked your
has
magic.
Dave's got 3 beautiful PCs that I almost didn't want to let go, and 3 of the XK, is it the XK64 joystick or the XK68 joystick?
XK68.
68. Okay, he's got 3 of those, and a whole passel of cameras, and it's really sweet, really sweet. So good, Dave. Glad you're here.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm glad you got it hooked up. Good work, Tom.
Neil, we like the X keys behind you.
I know, I like it. Very nice.
A little late, but still, we're glad to have it. That's right.
We love the X keys love.
It's okay. It's the thought that counts, Tom.
Yeah, that's
You didn't
right.
throw yours today, did you? I didn't see any keys going flying.
No, I haven't dropped it, but I was all at the desk today. So we are honored to have a very special, extremely special guest in here tonight. One of the very first guests in the series. We actually started out this live streaming series under a different name, and he was bold enough to come on one of the alpha shows back in 2012, in July of 2012. Al Bunt is here from Wisconsin. And Al has been doing church. Well, I'm not going to tell the story. Al, you tell the story. Welcome. Glad you're here.
Oh, good to see everybody. Just the night of Zoom conferences. Just jumped out of one and jumped in this one. So thanks for letting me join the NAB 2020 Zoom conference. I've been live streaming at our Good Shepherd Lutheran Church up in Wisconsin Rapids for 10 years now. This is year number 10. So it started way back with that other software that we don't mention anymore. But, Tom, you kept working with me. You kept bugging me to get me on vMix and X keys, and yeehaw, away we go.
Well, I was just looking out for your well-being, Al.
With this COVID thing, we're still live streaming our whole worship service and just basically running a replay in the midweek with just a team of five gentlemen, and we run the whole thing on Sundays, and the viewership has quadrupled, and hopefully it'll go back to normal someday, maybe next month, maybe we'll see. But we were lucky enough and fortunate enough to have everything in place where when this hit, we were ready to go. We didn't have to set up nothing. It was ready to go. Lots of practice. Well over 500 episodes now. So all I can say is I love vMix. I love my X keys. I love my Stream Decks. You know, I can do much more on the fly than I've ever been able to do. I mean, within 5 minutes, I got something totally different up. So, um, and watching the PTZ app, the Stream Geek show the other day, I'm gonna try some new stuff now. So, and maybe try that cloud stuff. Maybe I don't know. That's scary though.
Well, Al is the one that really unlocked my imagination on how significant live streaming can be in a church and house of worship center. He really Al's church, which is, and you may want to look him up. It's Good Shepherd Lutheran Church, and is that Wisconsin Springs, Al? Wisconsin
Rapids.
Wisconsin Rapids.
Then.
Rapids Springs.
Yeah.
I never can get them. So it's Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. So it's Good Shepherd Lutheran Church. And they were doing such cool things back before they were even cool. I mean, they are of all the churches that I know live streaming, Al's church was the one church that could go from having a full church to having an empty church and not skip a beat. I mean, it was so much so that I think your online congregation was almost the same size as your in the pew congregation. And
our online before COVID, we were running about let's see, out of a 300 member congregation with an average of 150 on the Sunday, and we were having 30 and 40 on the online portion. So, and it's totally flip flop now.
Right. And y'all had gone so far as in the Lutheran tradition, communion is a big deal, and that involves the bread and the wine. And Al's church had gone so far as to ship out to all these remote members a little communion kit. So when it came time to celebrate communion on Sunday morning, the people that were watching remotely could join in with the folks that were right there live. And Al, that was probably 6 or 7 years ago that you shared that with me, and it keeps coming back to me time and time again. Just really, huge thumbs up to you. Well done, sir. Well done, sir.
I have a higher power to thank for all of that. So I mean, I just pushed buttons.
I agree. Let's see. There's somebody that I skipped over who was one of the first folks in here tonight. Jeffrey Powers. Jeffrey, welcome. Glad to have you with us. Share where you are and your live streaming experience. Jeffrey has got a online presence under the name Geekazine. So if you're interested in technology things, you may want to check it out. Jeffrey, welcome, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Actually, that was kind of funny that you decided to choose me after Al, because I'm about hour and a half to 2 hours below him in beautiful Madison, Wisconsin.
Ha!
And I have been to Good Shepherd Church before, unfortunately, not for the best of reasons, but I've been up there, and so I wish you the best up north, and hope you guys are staying safe up there. Yes, I do run. How's my volume, by the way? Is it a little bit loud?
You're good.
Okay, perfect. I've been doing live streaming. Geekazine has been online since 2007. A little bit about me. I was a IT professional. I started on the Windows 95 support contract, and just kind of grew from there. And then I left in 2007. That's when I made the big change, and I left IT and started podcasting. And actually, I stuck with the IT in the podcasting. That way I didn't have to worry about a 9-to-5 job. And since then, I've been doing lots of live streaming. I was one of the first people to start really using Ustream back in 2007 when that platform started. And that was my introduction into live streaming with an old Mac G4 and some webcam that couldn't handle more than 25 frames a second or something like that. and doing all this stuff on the Mac with that. I was trying to think of that software, you could still get it. Cam Twist, is that it? And where you can, with Cam Twist, you could actually put in overlays, and myself and people like Chris Perillo were using those to do the live stream with, and so that was my introduction into live streaming, and then I just grew from there. I'm pretty agnostic when it comes to using software for streaming, because I do a lot of reviews. So, but I do have a Facebook group that does focus on another, even though it does focus on Wirecast, it's more about whatever system you use. If you use OBS, if you use vMix, if you use TriCaster, if you use Livestream or anything like that, then come on in and say hi, and we'll I want those conversations, because I know there's things that one does that the other doesn't do, and it's always great to be able to have great conversations, and that's what I look for, is great conversations in any of the groups that I create, and that's what I love about Streaming Idiots, is there's great conversation, and just don't let it go to the wayside, and so we don't get like live streams of people's junk or anything like that.
Yeah, that can happen. That can happen. You have to kind of keep on it. Keep on
Absolutely.
it. Well, good, Jeffrey.
And
Well, we're delighted to have you here.
Yeah,
Let's
and then
see.
one more thing.
Sure.
If you guys were watching, I was playing a little bit earlier. I was playing with Adobe Character Animator. I've been doing that for the last couple of weeks. So anybody that needs help on how to use that, just ping me, and I'm working on some stuff with that, and also I'm working on a thing called virtual conference, which I have just posted up a video. Miranda, I'd love to get you guys on X Keys on to see what's going on with you guys. Anything new?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, just contact me.
Yeah.
Good contact.
You know where to find us. If
Absolutely.
you don't, Tom will send you in the right direction. But
That's right.
There you go.
That's right. There you go. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Let's see. JB is here. JP, sorry, it's JP. I've got a B on my brain for the moment. JP, come on in and unmute yourself and introduce yourself and tell us what's going on.
All right. I'm JP. I'm outside of the Philadelphia area. I went to school for TV and film. That's where I discovered streaming and production with TriCaster. After that, I discovered, I will say it, and hopefully not get kicked out of the room from Tom, I discovered VidBlaster. I said it, don't kick me out. So then after that, OBS, I just started using vMix. But after college, I went on to work for a local NFL team, the very own Super Bowl 52 Eagles. There it was heavy TriCaster environment. Went on to do some other stuff. Now I'm working with a company doing medical conferencing. We are working on incorporating vMix because it's the only thing we can.
I think we're losing JP.
That's about it. I like put whatever software. It might be. My internet's been junky. I turned off my video. I don't know if that helps.
That should help. There you go.
All right. Apparently, Verizon can't provide. I'm also using a crappy laptop. Stable.
Gotcha.
Internet. And as also mentioned, just the conversation in the group. It's something that it's a lot of fun.
Well, we're glad to have you. If you're watching now and you're wondering, what is going on, this is the Streaming Idiots meetup, the virtual meetup at a virtual NAB, which was actually last week. And, this would actually, last week would have been the 4th annual meetup. Holy cow. Can you imagine that? It turned out to be a thing after all. I remember the very first one, I invited who did I think I invited Dan Slider from PI Engineering X Keys, and I said, Dan, would you come be a sponsor and come to our little thing? And he said, sure. Can I bring my whole office? And they showed up with about 10 people. It was Dan and Maggie and
Four
four
people.
Four people. Okay. All right. It's 8 like 10 and drank beer like 10. So
Hey, you know what? Open bars are my favorite. So
Yeah,
thank you, Tom.
well,
that was all Captain Crunch's doing.
There you
Exactly.
go.
yeah, that was PI Engineering underwrote the beer bill, I think, that year anyway. So so there you go. Oops, somebody shared a screen. Let's don't do that. Let's see, Craig. We haven't been to you, Craig. Craig Burnett, have you got audio? You have to unmute yourself and join us. There you go.
I'm not very good at this. Hi, everybody. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
I'm Craig Burnett. I'm just up the road. I didn't even know there was a Jeff Widgren in town, but I'm just up the road from Jeff Widgren here in Leawood, Kansas. And Jeff understands what the hair flip is for. I started in television at a tiny little TV station in Rapid City, South Dakota back in 1978 at the age of 16, and rose up through the ranks of the station in a couple of years, and then went off to Denver to work for a production company because that's where the money was, and bounced back and forth between Denver and Kansas City for a few years and landed here. And primarily was an editor of voiceover and on-camera talent, but got a phone call one day and somebody wanted to shoot Bill Self in his restaurant doing his weekly radio show for KU. So I put together a bunch of equipment, a Roland switcher and a few handy cams and some lighting, and put everything on 16 televisions in that restaurant. Then the next year they said, hey, could we go to our 3 other restaurants? And so somebody earlier mentioned Slingcatcher. So I brought in 4 distinct cable feeds, and we split out our signal to all 4 restaurants. And we did that for 7 years on that little Roland switcher. I rolled in all my name keys and everything with Screen Monkey, because I didn't have Playback Pro at the time. And so that's where I sort of got the streaming bug. I'm still doing production and post-production editing and such, but have been doing a lot of streaming. Started with an ATEM 2 and was frustrated by the fact that there was so little space in the media server and difficult to play videos back. I had to spend $400 on Playback Pro just to play spots into the streams and stuff. And I had seen vMix years ago, but it was a really early vMix, and it just looked clunky. And somebody said, oh, you really ought to try vMix. And I kind of poo-pooed it and then discovered it again. And oh my God, it completely changed my life. My ATEM 2 is down in the basement in a pile of cases and cables. And I've never looked back. And in case any of you think you might possibly recognize me, this is my internet meme, the car washing can be difficult guy. I've been doing direct response television for the last 35 years, and that was one of the spots we did, and Reddit picked it up and turned it into a meme, and the rest is show business history. So I'm just glad to be here. I've bought 3 or 4 licenses from Tom, set up a couple of churches and a couple of clients with vMix systems, and it's just bulletproof. And I'm just really glad I found it again.
Well, delighted to have you here, Craig. Thank you so much. Let's see. Let's spin around the globe. I think we've got somebody from the other side of the world. Chris Morton is joining us. Chris, can you join in? Tell us where you are and a little bit about your live streaming experience. Welcome.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for letting me into this room. It's a lot of very amazing people here to talk to. I originally started running a video production using VHS tapes on a large screen at the local arena 17 years ago, and then That eventually evolved where I bought a TriCaster, and that lasted for about 5-10 years. And then I replaced that with another TriCaster, which was a TC455, which was just when they were starting to get really good. But I had a few unreliability issues going on, and I had a video editing station, which I installed vMix on. And now that is my backup machine, and I now have a newer machine. It's almost an Obsidian, though some people tell me because I've got the wrong graphics card, it's not, but it's pretty close to it. And that is my bread and butter now. So as well as that, obviously, one of the other things that I was doing was I was watching the Studio Tech guys in Britain. Had a wonderful TV show, and they had Martin in there, Martin Sinclair, and he was demonstrating it, which is what initially sparked my interest. And so I went down that rabbit hole, and of course bumped into Tom, and he's been a wonderful help. And his shows are always showing us things that you think, well, this is a bit of an idiot show, but wow, what an idea. And so very worthwhile. I love being involved. So thank you very much, and keep up the great work.
Glad to have you with us, Chris. Thank you very
Hey,
much.
Chris, whatever happened to those Studio Tech guys? Why did they ever explain why they don't do their show anymore?
I think they went more. I don't understand quite why they stopped, but I know that they seem to concentrate more on being the support for other streamers. They become franchised TriCaster support crew. But yeah, I've since tried to contact them when I've sort of seen them around a little bit, but they've never got back to me and said, yeah, I'll come and be on your show and tell us what happened. They seem to live into another world. I always thought the fact that I forget his name, there was a person in the States. I thought that might have been a good example, a good opportunity to bring him in, but yeah, just disappointing. Yeah, they were great guys with great tech. They started.
Yeah, I learned a lot from those guys back in those days, and I love the guy. I know the guy you're talking about in the States, but I sure miss him.
Yeah, they started doing stuff, including doing fiber optic splicing on 2 or 3 subsequent shows, but then that sort of fell off the board again.
His name was Van, and he was from South Carolina, and he was the one that gave me the name for my very first live streaming show. He said, "Oh yeah, here's Tom. He's that VidBlaster guy," and that was the name of the show, and it sort of stuck. So I've said the word that shouldn't be said. So anyway, my apologies. Let's see. Let's get. Where is Claudio? There he is, Claudio Franco. Welcome, sir. Glad to have you. Unmute yourself and join in the conversation.
Hi, can you guys listen to me?
Very good.
Good. First of all, I'm sorry for my accent. I'm from Brazil. I'm Brazilian. I live in Rio. Beach is empty right now, so very calm things down here. I started live streaming in 2016 after having worked for Chevron for 25 years. And then I went all in, I got all my money and invested in this thing. I bought a couple of TriCasters and A10. As Tom would say, it was a huge learning tax, but that's about it. Right now, it's like 3-4 years that I've been using those equipment, and I'm going to definitely upgrade to vMix and of course XKeys. Here in Rio, we do a lot of a local sport called football, which is pretty much volleyball, but not played with the hands. It's with everything else but the arms, and people hit the ball with the foot. So it's there's a lot of athleticism involved. We also do a lot of jiu-jitsu and things like that. Basically, new sports since the we don't, in our reality here, we don't have high school sports, we don't have college sports. All those things are really weak. So what we do is the up-and-coming sports. So jiu-jitsu and another sport called beach tennis, things that are mostly played on the beach. And also some video conference for companies with Zoom and our equipment. So a couple of years ago, I learned how to do that, and that's the most part of our income comes from that. Yeah, that's basically it.
Very good. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. All right, let's see. What about Al? Al, Andrew, can you join in? Are you in a place? I see you're driving, but are you at a place where you can share?
No, I can unmute. Hang on a second.
Okay.
All right, I'm done. How's that?
There we go.
Hey guys.
Welcome.
My name's Al. My name's Al Andrew. I am based in Australia, in Melbourne. I've been in post audio production for about 20 years in broadcast and television. Entered live streaming at about 2016. So that was the first time I really picked up a camera. So it's been a huge learning curve. I'm predominantly on Mac at this stage. I head the media for a very small sport internationally. I'm involved with a sport called roller hockey, which takes me all over Europe and also here in Australia. So I have operated VMix in Barcelona for the World Roller Games. I've been involved with the guys there. But predominantly my setup is outboard Ecamm gear, outboard Blackmagic, feeding a Mac into Ecamm. That is how I'm streaming my events at the moment. It's a lot of work, using a lot of overlays with new blue effects. So my studio is mostly Mac, so I've kind of stayed with Mac, and I look at VMix with envy, and I understand what it is offering, but I just don't have the heart to change everything in my workflow. I get surprising results with other things. I use, for replays, I use an iPad control system made by a company called Live Skills. Some of you have probably seen it. And I control 3 hyperdecks and control 3 cameras for replays. So there's a lot of switching, a lot of babying on the control system. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So I love watching you guys and learning from everybody.
Well, we're delighted to have you, and you are more
Thank
than
you.
welcome here. Don't let anybody think because you're using an inferior product that you're not welcome around us. So,
okay, thank you.
It just points out, Tom, that we absolutely need a Streaming Idiots Down Under.
Absolutely, absolutely,
you know,
absolutely. Okay, let's see. Let's circle back to Henry. Henry Ramos, welcome, sir. Unmute yourself and do the intro thing, please.
Hey guys, Henry Ramos, just outside of New York. Appreciate the Streaming Idiots group, and I know Tom, Dave Edwards have been really helpful. My background is a couple of decades ago, I started shooting news, camera guy. So went up the ranks and ran a local TV station here called News 12 for about 10 years. And about 3 years ago, got into streaming. Was playing with Wirecast after we had rented a TriCaster for a couple of events. And Tom, I'm sure you don't remember this, but about 3 years ago at NAB, my nephew says, listen, I'm playing with VMix because we had to put some Twitter stuff in a scroll. You should come check it out. Came, I was really impressed, and liked it a lot better than Wirecast, and just made the jump and been happy. Basically doing live events, a couple of dance congresses and workshop seminar type stuff, and now just trying to do the virtual VMix call shows like everybody else is doing. But I wanted to say thanks for all the help. Every once in a while I could try to chime in on the group and if anybody needs any questions about ENG or studio stuff, then maybe I could help sometime. But thanks for having me.
Delighted. Thanks for sharing. Okay, let's see. Who have I missed? I've probably missed a Floridian from Venezuela. Herman Portillo. Welcome, sir. Unmute yourself and do the intro thing.
Of course. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Like Tom says, my name is Germán Portillo. I'm from Venezuela, but I'm here since 1999, and I live in Lake Wales, Florida. It's a town between Tampa and Orlando. I'm a pastor from a small Hispanic church here in Lake Wales, and I was introduced by trying to stream our service with no money. So I had to go through a lot of tutorials, and until I met Tom, and he's been great. I had a lot of tips from him, camera that we're still using. So we've been blessed with all this. Being without a money, you have to do a lot of tutorials, and you have to be creative. So that in this time of pandemic has been a blessing for us, because we have been helping other churches in the same situation not to go through all the things that I went through.
That's right.
We're going just straight to what they need and what they can do with their budget. So it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. I'm still not using X keys. I'm still debating between the X keys and the keyboard, but I think I'm gonna do the jump.
I think you just gave Maggie and Miranda heart attacks right there.
Definitely do the jump.
I just, to be honest, I'm about to go private with them and ask them what can I do with an X key that I cannot do with a keyboard, so they can slap me on the face.
Oh, I can answer that one. I can answer that one. All right. Well, we'll let them talk in private at some point. Let's see. Is Ty Young? Ty, if you're here, I see you've got just a picture up, but if you're here and have audio, would love to have you come on and introduce yourself. Ty is a very successful entrepreneur. Not sure if she's in her Miami, Atlanta, or California headquarters tonight, but it's been interesting to work with her over the years. Ty, I tell you what, if you hear me and you come back at some point, give me a shout out and let me know, because we'd love to introduce you. Let's see, is there anybody that we might have overlooked? Anybody that we might have missed? Maybe somebody that has just joined us.
I see somebody we missed.
Somebody I missed. No, I already got Dave. I already got Dave.
No, not Dave.
Not
somebody
Dave.
From down under.
Somebody from
somebody
down
in the
under.
future. Somebody in the future is in here.
In the future. That's right.
see him.
That's right. Because it's Wednesday where he is.
It is Wednesday where he is.
He is Wednesday. All right. Well, if that fits the bill for anybody, if you would unmute yourself and introduce yourself to the rest of the crowd, since we probably have never seen your face before and have no idea who you might be or where you've come from.
Hello?
A little bit more audio.
Is this thing on?
Barely.
Is this thing on? Can you hear me?
That's better.
All right, I'll just yell as much as I can. Yes, we're in the future. It's Wednesday. We're in the future. I think it's Wednesday, isn't it? I've lost track of time. I have no idea what day it is, to be perfectly honest. But I thought I would join in. I was hard at work, as you can imagine, but I thought I would join in and say good day. I've got my my Streaming Idiots Las Vegas koozie, I think you call them. We call them stubby coolers. For the Streaming Idiots meetup. So if anybody else, we've got one other person out there that I can see, but if you've got one out there, you should give us a wave.
If you're here and have audio, we'd love to have you come on, introduce yourself.
Yes, so that's what I've got. So I thought I'd just say hello. I heard our name a few times, so I thought I would drop in and say g'day. So hello to everybody out there.
G'day. All right. Well, we're glad to have you here, and since we couldn't get you live in person in Las Vegas, we'll just have to settle for having you.
Hey, guys.
Oh, there's Ty Young. Hello, Ty. Welcome. come in, introduce yourself to this group.
Maybe somebody that has just joined us.
Good to meet everyone on the call.
I already got Dave.
Good. Glad to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, actually, I focus on developing apps for Alexa, Roku, Samsung, LG. Actually, my goal is to help small business owners stream their small businesses over Roku, Apple TV, Samsung, LG, and all of the other OTT platforms. That's pretty much it in a nutshell pertaining to IPTV and OTT.
All right. All right. Well, Ty, tell
Yes.
you what, you're in the Streaming Idiots group, aren't you? So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, they could send you a PM, a private message through the Streaming Idiots group. So I think there are a couple of folks that have indicated already they'd love to chat with you.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yep.
great. Absolutely. Oh, cool. Yeah. I mean, any questions they have, I'm here anytime. Feel free to email me or chat with me in the Streaming Idiots chat. So totally, I'm open, guys. Any questions you have about Roku, Apple TV, Alexa, Samsung, LG. I actually do the coding and I customize the software development kits.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yep.
I tell you folks, this is a quality group with the exception of me. I mean, you guys are just like top drawer, top shelf.
Yeah, Tom, you're the biggest idiot in the group. You know that, right?
Exactly. Thank you, Ty. Thank you, Ty.
You're welcome. I'm just kidding, guys. He's
No.
lovely. He's so awesome. We love you, Tom.
Thank you, Ty. You're a sweetheart. You're a
Mhm.
sweetheart.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right. Looks like Otis is getting audio connected there. Otis, are you at a point where you can share?
Yeah, howdy, y'all from Texas.
There he is.
Yes, I am a audio engineer for my church. I've been an audio engineer since 1999. I got introduced to the TriCaster BT5 in the early 90s, and we had a video guy here at the church, and he left the church after a while. So, and then the VT5 went down. So I was looking for a solution, run across a guy who introduced me to vMix, and he was somewhat of a scam artist. But I was able to reach out to Tom, and Tom was able to help me get up to speed on vMix and to help us to live stream. And it's truly been a blessing. Matter of fact, I'm here at the church now, actually trying to figure Zoom out to integrate it into our worship service. We've been streaming to YouTube and to Facebook, but our senior population, which is a third of our church, it's been having difficulties through this time. So that's what I'm here at the church now working on, to get them to be able to dial in and just listen by phone without having to navigate too much technology.
Right. Cool. Good work.
So
good work.
And I'm watching y'all on the my iMac.
Oh, really? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Through vMix.
Nobody else in the church, so he's got us up on a 25-foot screen. All right. Well, we need to straighten up and fly right here for a few minutes. Very good. All right, Otis. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. Well, let's kick it back to Tim, because I think he's got a big announcement he wanted to make here tonight on the Streaming Idiots meetup at the virtual meetup at NAB. Tim, unmute yourself. We'll give you in fact, everybody
Let me take it away.
Let me pin his video so that you can see him. And what have you got for us?
I don't know. Let me think. If anybody wants to win this 10-year-old netbook, maybe that's a good prize to give away for this thing. It seems to be right up everybody's alley. I don't know. I don't have anything to give away, unfortunately. You've still got to work out who won that giveaway on your show last week.
Yes.
Let alone
Yes.
give away something.
That's my goal.
This show.
As soon as I can do that. Yeah.
It feels like this pandemic has kind of made some people less busy, but then other people have kind of been piled on with all the busyness from everybody else. So it's a very weird dynamic. Certain people are very, very busy, including us at the moment. But I mean, if you want to do a giveaway or something like that, I can't see anything. Like I used Zoom to create a tutorial on how to use it to connect it up with vMix, and I promised myself to never ever use Zoom again. So I have no idea what's going on, and I don't know actually how to use it properly, like in a big situation like this. I have no idea what's going on. And so I imagine there's a way you can see everybody's videos, and I just clicked the thing that said that. We'll do a deal. I'll give away a vMix HD key to the first person that shows a vMix mousepad on the Zoom. All right. I didn't watch or anything like that, so someone can determine the winner and let me know. I think it's Dave, is it?
Dave Edwards.
I think it was Dave.
Dave. Edwards wins. Congratulations, Dave. You
Well
are now
done.
a proud owner of another vMix key. I saw an X Keys mousepad up there, but that doesn't count. So the X Keys mousepads are a little bit boring, unfortunately. So that is a direct shot at the X Keys ladies that are up there from Michigan. Get more exciting mousepads is what I've got to say.
Well, you know, Tim, I mean,
we gave away an X Keys, so
what would you expect?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the mousepad itself. You need to get more exciting mousepads.
What would you expect from a couple of booth babes?
yeah, don't call us that.
No.
Do not call us that. We will end the stream right now.
Look at all that awesome box content that I have in the
There
back.
you go. Look at that. Good job, Ken.
That's
I like it.
That's it. Sucking up.
Well,
That's it. Okay. All
Booth
right.
babes. I ain't gonna forget that one.
It's terrible.
I'm just
I
gonna.
would never ever call you guys that at all.
Thank you.
No.
So disrespectful.
The things that
We
he
are
would
more
say in
than
private.
just-
Oh my gosh.
Tim would never.
Oh my
No,
gosh.
never.
Well, let's give a big shout out to Scott and Mauricio and Clint and Kathal and Edward, who are watching us on Facebook and YouTube tonight. Glad to have you. Sorry we couldn't twist your arm and get you to join in here. Also to Brandon Adams and Tom Eagle and Danny Galley and Tim Connor, Chris Harper, Rock Davis. Hey, Rock and I just became Facebook friends today. And Darren Smith, Paul Richards, Eric Prewitt. So glad to have you guys tuning in at some point this evening and hanging out with us. I think unless somebody else has just slipped in, I think it's only taken us a couple hours, but we've finished the introductions. Now it's time for the 2-hour program. So we're ready to go. We're ready to go. No, I'm just teasing.
Quick question: where's Kenny? I'm missing the hosts for the show. What's going on?
Where is Kenny? Dave, where is Kenny? I corresponded with him yesterday, but I forgot to remind him to be here. So that's my bad. My bad. But he can watch it in replay.
Tom, it's Ty.
Yes, Ty.
Yeah, I put my contact information in the chat as well, guys.
Good. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you
Okay,
very
thanks,
much.
Tom.
You
Mhm.
betcha. You betcha. All right. So now what are we going to do? Now that everybody's introduced and we all are best friends, we've got folks representing vMix. We've got folks representing X Keys, and then we've got me representing lots of stuff. We've got Ken representing Dum Dums, and apparently Smarties too. That's very cool. And somebody throw out a question or throw out a comment, and let's see if we can't get some conversation going on the comment.
What was Rich representing right there?
what
Yeah,
was
what was he representing?
he was representing looks like bad decisions.
Romulan ale.
Yeah.
He's quarantined. It's okay. He's not going anywhere.
That's right.
Can't that be used for disinfectant?
Yeah, he wipes it on his hands and wipes it on his head.
I think he drinks it through a mask, though, so I'm not sure.
It has polishing qualities. Yep, there we go.
It'll strip the wax off your floor.
Otis is showing us a view of ourselves on the big screen in his church. That's cool.
I think Claudio put his hand up, Tom.
Oh, good. Okay, dive in.
No, I was actually clapping Richard's representation.
Okay. Well, I'm really sorry and really hugely disappointed, as I know all of you are, that those of us that had intended to be out at NAB for real couldn't have this meetup in person, and didn't have a chance to swing by the X Keys booth and see the cool stuff that X Keys is doing. They've got a new little a little baby T-bar that's in the works. I don't think it's a baby T-bar, but it's just a small footprint T-bar in the works. So we could have seen that. They've been working on this great modular system for a while that at some point we hope will be at a prototype stage and be out to the point where we can get it. I mean, it would have a T-bar, it would have a traditional X Keys, it could have a joystick, it could have a QWERTY keyboard. I mean, it was just really, really, really cool. vMix was at least on schedule before all this mess happened to release a beta of vMix 24 at NAB. I was talking to TJ Johnson, I guess yesterday or the day before, I don't remember, and he is just over the moon with the changes that vMix has made in instant replay, going to 8 cameras and splitting up the A and B channels and all the different changes in that. And he's made some good suggestions. I think Maggie and Miranda, he's working with you guys on some changes to the X Keys replay controller.
Yes. Yeah, TJ's great. TJ, shout out if you're watching, bud. We appreciate you.
He was watching earlier, so hopefully.
It's been a little bit.
Yeah. But so,
hey, Miranda, this is Ken. Are you using the X Keys thing that you have custom made for Zoom?
Yeah, apparently they used it to turn off their audio, Ken. No, you guys have got an XK24 that has a Zoom template built into it, right?
Yes, that is in the works. There should be something mostly final out by Friday. We teased everybody with it last week and put a lot of work into it this week, so it should be really cool.
Yep, on a Mac is a little different, so we've done a lot of testing. This Friday we do a show. Sorry, Tom, I'm stealing your thunder to plug our show. Fridays at 11:02 Eastern. Tune in for Spiny Talk. We're actually going to have a guest on to talk about the Zoom X's. So stay tuned.
Mac
awesome.
and
So
PC.
that's
Wait, are we
Friday
plugging
morning
shows
at
now?
11:02.
You got to watch my show as well. It's
Yeah.
Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
I was getting there.
So first watch Tim's show at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then on Friday morning at 11:02 Eastern, watch our show. Yes.
The petrol
Okay.
pricing. Stay tuned.
Hey Tom, on the
Teenagers.
Facebook group, there was a lot of there's been a couple of questions about a new vMix controller from a company called Magic Meerkat.
I missed that. Tell us
it might
about
look
it.
something like. So it might look something like this, guys. So here you go. Here's a first sneak peek of that device along the way. So it's pretty cool. Has some limitations compared to the X Keys keyboards. I got my 128 T-bar in the other room, so I can't pull that out at the moment. But this is quite a neat little tool, and it stacks up pretty well against the T-bar, including the fact that it's got PTZ control there as well. But what you do is it is designed to work straight out of the box with vMix along the way. So it's a pretty cool one. It's a pretty cool one. So you can pull up all your presets just by clicking on the stuff as well. So it works really, really nicely. So for those people who have been asking to see it and saying, is it worthwhile looking at? Landed certainly here in Australia, and be the same for you, Chris, in New Zealand. It works out with tax and import duty and so on. It is actually quite an expensive item, but for rolling into a gig, it's really good. So there you go. Just a really quick one. If you're in Australia or New Zealand, you can get it from me. So there you go. Plug.
Shameless plug, I might add. Okay.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. All right. Very good.
Hello, all the Australasians. That's interesting. Can you pull up inputs that are greater than, like 10 or 12 or whatever it is?
Yeah, so what it has is down the bottom there are 12 cut and preview buttons, and it takes the first 12 inputs in vMix, but then it has over the top here, it has 13 to 20, so input 13 to 20 can be used as overlay channels, and you then control the 4 overlays here. So when you multiply so these are the 4 overlay channels itself. And so when you multiply 13 to 20 times 4, you can run lots and lots of different overlays there. But typically when you go into a production, you're generally just using those first 7, 8 buttons to switch anyway. And you do the same thing on an X keys as well. But the great thing is that every one of these drives a vMix shortcut. So you can then go and change all the shortcuts as well. Yeah, Miranda, I'd sell them too. And they're great. They're really good. So.
All right. Thank you, Andrew.
Different beast, different purpose.
There you go.
It is. We're just having fun.
All right. I think Ken Benedict has got a question for Dave Edwards. Ken?
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be covered in your show that's upcoming, Dave, but concerning the Quadro GPU cards, some of them are stopping at 2 encodes. Some of them can go 3 or more. Will that software that you're going to demo have any effect on the Quadros?
All I know is the latest drivers for the RTX and GTX cards, you get 3 encoders instead of just being limited to 2. Anything that I've seen so far, of course, it's not showtime yet, so still be digging. I haven't seen anything specific on the Quadro cards, but yeah, you still have the keylace patch, so you can go unlimited if you want as well. I don't think that's been stopped yet, so.
Well, wouldn't a stock Quadro card still have unlimited, or is there a limit to them?
If it had unlimited initially, you should be fine. But there are Quadro cards that are limited.
Yeah, my mobile card's limited to 2 encodes. I'm looking at an insert duo in my Sinclair suit.
What is that? Is that a K21M?
P4000.
2100M?
Oh, in the mobile, it's M2200.
Oh, okay.
And it's limited to.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to. I don't think it's going to add anything to that because I don't think the newest drivers will install on those older Quadro cards because I have the K2100M, and the latest driver it lets me install is like 10 or 12 revisions back in the Quadro card category. So I don't think they're including official support for the newer stuff.
Okay.
On the,
older
uh,
stuff,
Looking at
on
the
the-
T4000.
On the NVIDIA download site, if you go to look at the game ready driver or the studio driver, there's a tab there that says compatibility, and it'll tell you all the cards that the new drivers will actually support. So that's the easiest way to find out whether it'll affect the Quadro. But I agree with Dave. I can't remember seeing that it actually supported those.
But by tomorrow at 3:00 Eastern, we could have more information at streamingidiots.com when you can watch the Streaming Idiots show with extremely very special guest Dave Edwards, the Grand Poobah. That's right. And let's see, and Al Bunt, I don't know if Al's already left, but Al had to leave. Al, thank you for tuning in. Oh, and while we're talking,
I got to roll.
And Scott, it's past his bedtime. It's
right.
It's 7:00 in Vegas.
Well, Uber quits running, and
I got to do the real work.
That's right.
So this whole COVID-19 is kind of screwed us. So we have to do online stripping. So that's my call. My stage time is at about 15 minutes. So I got to roll.
Okay, you don't want to leave us a link so we can watch?
Yeah, it's pay-per-view.
Oh, well, okay.
It's also not a Zoom
I think
camera.
Dave gave us a show there earlier.
Yeah, that's right. Yes,
Thank
he
you,
did.
everybody.
Yes, he did.
Hey,
I don't
Scott,
think it was a
break
little
out the 30X.
unintentional.
What's that?
And we've recorded it, so we're.
Just break out the 30X.
We don't want to do that. People start crying, women start fainting. I don't need that shit. All right, so sorry. We'll see you later.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It was inevitable. It was inevitable. Let's see. I had a comment for somebody here. I don't recall who it is. I'm looking over the list. In my mind. Oh, I know what it was. I wanted to give a shout out to Sandy Sinclair, who is doing without her lovely husband tonight. She's allowed him to go out and play with his friends on this virtual playground of Zoom and vMix and Streaming Idiots. So hat tip to Sandy for being so sweet and how sweet she's going to be when I get home later than I expected to get home, because she understands and loves me for who I am. So just wanted to put that on the record out there. Yes, indeedy.
And not to mention, she's really enjoying the break. So
yeah, that's right. So if you see me with marks tomorrow on the Streaming Idiots show, I just walked into a doorknob. You know, it's one of those deals. I was wondering today how this was going to go. You know, we've got, about 28, 30 people, something like that in this group. You can't really have individual conversations, and that's what you end up having at places like NAB and things like the Streaming Idiots Meetup. You know, here we are all together in one place at one time. If I were Neil, I'd say this is a great time to take up a collection, because you've got so many people, you know, in one place at one time. That's what they do at church, but we're not going to take up a collection here.
Take up a collection? Well, we actually don't even have online giving yet. It's pretty amazing, but we're the last church in the northern hemisphere to not get online giving.
Oh, my goodness! I'm so sorry to hear that. Wow.
It's okay. It's we have actually done really well through this whole thing of, like, our people have been so generous, and it's been okay. So
good.
Yeah.
Good.
Speaking of giving.
Yeah. So anybody got anything pressing they want to share? I mean, you know, at this point we'll let you guys take over and chit chat.
Hey Tom, this Otis.
Yeah, Otis, what's up?
Hey, a friend of mine, church around the corner from our church, actually I turned him on to vMix and turned him on to online giving. And he shared with me today that actually his online giving is knowing better than when they was actually in the physical church.
That is not the first time I've heard that story. Herman, what about you? No, you got to unmute. Unmute. There you go.
Same thing. We are having more people online than at the actual building, and our offering has gone up more than 50% of what we usually get.
That's great.
So I'm
That's
think
great.
I think I'm canceling the lease on the building, and keep on going online.
Keep on going virtually. Well, don't forsake the meeting of the faithful. Don't do that. Ken's got to leave us, but he gives a shout out to Tim and Martin. So there we go. I think he wouldn't be alone in doing that. Ken, glad to have you.
Boys, I think we're
See you,
out of
Ken.
here. Everybody.
We haven't eaten dinner yet,
It's
so
really late.
Oh my
gosh.
Vegan time. We're hungry. I know.
Well,
we work so hard.
Enjoy the rest of NAB, everyone.
Yeah, good to see everybody.
Yes.
Thank you for the X Keys love, Tom. Thanks for having us on. Tim.
11:02 Friday.
Good to
Don't
see your
forget.
face. 11:02.
Bye.
Catch us 8 p.m. Eastern. The petrol price
Thursday.
on Thursday.
Don't
And
forget.
then 11:02.
Petrol prices Thursday. That's right.
Petrol
8 p.m.
prices
Eastern.
Thursday. Yes, it's so fun.
Yes,
Tune in.
indeed. And if you would like to become a hand model, there is a whole website set up for hand modeling.
Wow.
Tim, would you share that website with us?
Very simple. vmixhandmodels.com.
You never told me about that.
vmixhandmodels.com. So you can get certified as a hand model, and make millions.
I'm already
They've
a
been
hand
featured
model
in our
on
videos
XKs.
for years and years. So yeah, you clearly don't watch my tutorial
I
videos.
mean, you
so
didn't
thanks
tell
for
me
that.
I could be a hand model. I knew you had hand models. I didn't know you were recruiting still. Anyways, all right. That means I need to go. I'm hungry.
There you go.
The hangry Maggie's
Bye,
coming out.
everyone.
Bye.
Don't want to
Catch
get in
y'all
the way
later.
of her. Bye, guys. Glad to have you.
Bye.
Thank
Are
you.
the
All right.
instructors for hand modeling Italian?
No, they're Australian. Okay.
Yeah, we have a number of hand gestures that we use, probably less than appropriate. So we try and keep those calm as much as possible. But yeah, it's Australian training, unfortunately.
There's a question in the YouTube chat. Tom, what is the Streaming Idiot show going to be about tomorrow? It will be tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern at streamingidiots.com. Dave Edwards is going to be our guest. We're going to talk about the news from NVIDIA, where they've announced this new voice thing, which is not at all like the vMix voice that was announced on April 1st a year or so ago. This voice will actually take audio out instead of adding audio in or causing things to have with audio. So it's a great way to clean up the background. Dave will give us a report on that, as well as the NVIDIA unlocking an extra encoder in a lot of GTX and RTX graphics cards. And then, oh golly, Dave, what was the third thing? I never can remember the third thing. Anyway, there was a third thing that was going to be equally as stunning as the first two things. So, oh no, it's Havard's app for mapping and the audio matrix. So that's going to be worth taking a look at. That's really pretty cool. So it should be a really good kind of hands-on show tomorrow, talking about all those things at 3 p.m. Eastern time at streamingidiots.com. Yep. So this is the part of the evening where we would call it shameless plug time. So if you've got something you'd like to plug, Al wants to know. Tim, Al has got a question. He wants to know. This is probably the best time to ask, but when will vMix be available on a Mac? I know this is probably the first time you've ever heard this question, Tim, but it and I don't want to catch you unprepared for something like that. But
I've got my iPads here ready to go, and I've got all my notes ready to let people know when the Mac version's coming out.
Yep.
I'm gonna say probably 2095, probably. potentially there might be a Mac version. It's going to be a long way off.
Got it.
Yeah, unfortunately, no Mac version. I always say, hey, when you go and buy the next video game, AAA related video game, do you go and buy a Mac to play that on? No, you buy a PC with an awesome graphics card. So yeah, unfortunately, the very specific niche of live video encoding and production, the Windows platform is far, far ahead of Mac. Like we say, Macs are great for heaps of other stuff, but yeah, unfortunately, just for live video production, encoding, streaming, Windows are much, much better. And I'm sure people would want to fight over that, but you know, that's just how we are, and that's our policy.
Al Andrews was talking about using Ecamm for Mac. If you go to their website, they have exactly the same question asked of them, but in reverse. And their statement is, we're a Mac company. We're never going to produce a Windows version. You know, let's put it to bed.
Yeah, it's one of those things that if you do development for a certain platform, it's much easier to pump out features and changes if you work on one platform. So you might have someone like a different, like Mac or Linux or something, that make certain changes that don't work. Then you have to go back to the drawing board and kind of rebuild something or do it again. And it kind of puts you behind in development for other features for your main platform. So it's a lot easier to be pumping out new features and a more stable product if you're only focusing on one particular platform. That's just our sort of policy, and it looks like it's probably the same way with other ones as well. So yeah.
Yeah,
Good to see we're not the only
more
ones.
on that. I used to own a software development shop myself years ago, and you kind of have to pick your platform and go, you know, and especially with social media these days. That is, you know, imagine what the threads might look like, what might read like, and so forth when you do Windows really well and you kind of do Mac. I mean, just those threads could destroy an organization, if you will, and a community, which actually has an incredible product. But you know, it just proves. I mean, you look at even Pro Presenter 7, for instance. How many years and years and years does a company take to finally say, and they're really not, but say that they're parity equal between the two platforms? And you know, parity is feature to feature, but is it parity as far as a reliability platform? Because that expectation from your customer base never changes. They expect the best always, right? And it's the company's job to ensure the very best, and you have to give them the respect of picking that path and living and dying with it. So yeah, I agree. I've been on Mac for years and years and years, and all my time with Wirecast has been on Mac, and I'm sitting here on a 2-month-old PC that's been put to the test for that platform and my vMix trial that I'm running right now and so forth. And there's no comparison to the horsepower that you can get out of the platform on Windows 10 and a PC for sure.
Hey, Tom and Tim.
Otis.
Yes. Well, my shameless plug is going to be a feature request for Microsoft Team tutorial.
There you go, Tim.
To be integrated with vMix.
Basically, just take Zoom and unplug Zoom and plug Microsoft Teams in its spot, and it works just about the same way. And Tim is giving us his famous lip reading. I'm not really talking, but I'm pretending to talk trick. It's a big Australian thing.
Like I can pretend like I'm promising something, but I'm not really. So that's the whole point of that. But yeah, I don't have much experience with Teams, but I can have a look into it at some point. It's just one of those things where I think making Zoom videos and making vMix call tutorials with like 2 computers, 4 cameras, 2 desktop captures, and then editing all that down into a tutorial. It's taken like 10 years off my life trying to make these video conferencing tutorials. So yeah, I'll have a look at Teams at some point in the future, but it could just be very similar to what's already there for existing sort of platforms with using the NDI virtual input and that sort of thing. So, yeah.
All right. So Tim should have that out by tomorrow.
Works really well using
don't
the external
say that,
out too.
Please don't say that. Sorry.
Very good. Claudio.
Teams.
Yeah, I'm sorry for stepping in. The thing with Teams is that several companies utilize Microsoft Teams because they have the whole Microsoft environment. And Teams is not quite like Zoom, mainly on the audio side. Zoom is a lot easier. You don't really have to do anything. It works great system. You just have to plug. But Teams is a little bit more complicated with mixing minors and stuff like that. But so that's just comment.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I had an opportunity to work with teams with a big court system out in Otis's favorite state in Texas, and we were able to get it to work with vMix pretty much the same way that Zoom would, in terms of virtual audio cable or virtual audio cables in order to send audio back and forth, and using that Zoom model. We were able to get it up and running within about 5 minutes. So it really wasn't a bridge too far. Now, as for the Teams program and its feature set versus Zoom, I couldn't tell you. I didn't care. I just wanted to get vMix talking with it, and then it was up to them to do the rest. Yeah. So I'm sorry, Andrew, I cut you off just a second ago.
No, that's all right. I was just going to say it works really well using the external out for video, and as you were just saying, they're using a virtual audio cable going back in. But there are so many of these collaboration platforms, and they are all very similar. So Slack is another one. TeamViewer, you can use TeamViewer. You just look at the principles behind it all and apply those principles, and it works really, really quite seamlessly along the way. So
there you go. Well, gents, I hate to be a party pooper, but it's getting late here in Alabama. It's time for my dinner. And the state of Alabama is going to be opening up real soon. So come on down here and get some good barbecue. Tim, we'll be saving some for you. Tim,
that's one of the things I'll miss out on NAB will be not having some barbecue with the meetup. So
that's right.
You'll have to get double the amount next year. We'll have to pile it on. Or you can eat barbecue or something like that.
All you can eat barbecue, all you can drink IBC root beer, lemonade, it'll mix nuts. It'll be a great time.
I think we should just have one of the Scott studios or sets just entirely set up for people to eat food in front of the live stream. So make everybody else jealous.
I'm sure Scott would love that. Yeah. They have barbecue all over his live set. Yeah. But I appreciate you guys tuning in and hanging out and getting to meet each other. I hope maybe you made some contacts that will be valuable for you. People that can be good resources, maybe some experiences that they've shared that you'd like to find out more about. I think everybody here, if you're not already a member of the Streaming Idiots group, I hope you'll join. And that's a great place to hang out and exchange ideas. And, a huge hat tip to Daniel, because it's probably like 4:00 in the morning in Sweden. And he's still up and going strong. And so...
yeah. It's actually, I noticed that you said that it's becoming late, and here it's actually becoming early.
Yeah,
the sun is almost rising.
Oh my gosh! Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, guys, have a great evening. Tim, have a great day. Tim, have a great Wednesday. We will see you guys when we see you. Of course, if I can help you in any way, I'm happy to. But appreciate hanging out with you guys tonight.
Thanks,
Y'all
Tom.
take care. Yes, indeed. It's a
See ya.
pleasure.
Take care.
Thank you, Tim.
See you all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Bye.
Good night. Well done. Well done. Well done. And then there were three. Dave, Otis, good evening, gentlemen. I appreciate you, and we'll see you soon. And for those of you that are watching the live stream, what's left of it, thank you so much for tuning in. It was a treat to have you with us tonight. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And next year at NAB, we can meet in person and have a great time, sip some lemonade and some IBC root beer and eat some barbecue and mixed nuts and Smarties and Dum-Dums and all the things that make live streaming fun. But if I can help you, of course, in any way, I'd love to. Feel free to reach out to me at the Eastern Shore Broadcasting, easternshorebroadcasting.com page. There's a contact form there, and I'll get back with you as soon as I possibly can. Have a good evening.